Welcome and good morning. This is ARC 313, video 21. This is our last week of video lessons. And we're going to explore Chiaro, Scuro, kind of the light and dark aspects of painting. We're going to use Stephen Hall as an example. He paints in a lot of different ways, but that's one way in which he does paint. It's a great way to kind of explore light coming through your project, whether it's crepuscular light in the evening or cathedral light coming through, or just any kind of source of light and how it refracts and reflects on surfaces inside the space. I like bringing in Stephen Hall to students because he really does a great job of introducing architecture and watercolor together. He's been painting for over 40 years, primarily at a small scale in sketchbooks of about 5x7 in size. You can pull out any book that he's done, whether it's intertwining or anchoring or parallax, and you're going to find watercolors that he's done. But if you're interested in strictly the watercolor aspect of his office, there are two books in particular, Written in Water and Scale, the follow-up companion piece. Written in Water came out first, and it's about approximately 5x7. It's almost like looking at one of his sketchbooks. It's like this thick. And they printed it on modeled paper, so it feels like you're looking at his sketchbooks directly. That one's a little bit cost prohibitive. If you can find it on the cheap, get it, definitely, because usually it costs around $500. But Scale, the companion follow-up book, also 5x7, also quite thick. The hardcover's not quite as high quality, but it's still a really good book. Is drastically cheaper. You can find it for under $50. So those are two really good books to explore his watercolor work. But yeah, come on over here and we'll start looking at not exactly how he would paint it, but just taking his as a model and showing you how I would paint it. This is a sketch I did of one of his paintings. And we've got light sources coming in through these diagonal skylights and windows here and here. And what we're going to do is look at the chiaroscuro effect here. So I'm going to start by hitting the ground plane first and this wall, because these are the ones who are taking some of the light. And then the back wall and the ceiling will be a little bit darker. I'm going to do it all with various grays. This is the start here of the floor. So I'm going to paint with a slightly lighter gray here. And I'm just going to go right through the person because they're going to get darker in the end anyway. But I'm going to add some water to it too, so it helps kind of model the surface. And after I'm done painting this section, I'm going to use my paper towel to pull up some of the excess near the window shadows and light, because I want to kind of show that there's a little bit more of a glow around those zones. So I'm painting this whole section here first. And adding a little bit of water so that you get a little bit of staining going on inside this wash. And so then when I've finished that, I can take a paper towel, kind of pull up some of the excess right around where the light would be coming in on the floor to kind of suggest that there's a little bit of a glow coming in there. And that'll dry nicely as well. And then on this side over here, I've got another source of light that's casting a shadow here. So I'm going to paint this section first, and I'm going to use the overpainting method after it dries to make the second part lighter. Again, this is a lighter Payne's Gray from Daniel Smith. I'm going to use my darker Payne's Gray from Winsor Newton to hit the ceiling and back wall. So I'm painting the whole thing right now, but I'll do a little bit of overpainting to make this section over here a little bit darker than the section that's in the light. There's two ways to do it. I could also use the paper towel technique to pull up the excess right in here, but since we did that on the ground plane here, you have to monitor it because this thing wants to, it's drying, it's a dynamic process, so you have to keep an eye on it, make sure it's drying the way you want it to. And any kind of mistakes that happen in there are also beneficial as well. But so we've done it with the paper towel here, so I'll do the overpainting method on the side here. And then, like I said, I'm going to use my darker Winsor Newton Payne's Gray to get the ceiling for now. And then mixing it with a little bit of straight water so I get a little bit of that surface modulation I was talking about earlier, and staining. Voila. So I'm going to keep going through here. I'm going to let this dry and then come back to you in a sec so I can show you the overpainting method and whatnot. So I'll see you for video 22 in a sec here.